So now 3 days out from the PCA Saxon Classic. So basically just give you a run through of where I am and what I'm doing. So yesterday morning, Wednesday morning, I hit my the lowest midweek weight at 236.5. So that's the lightest I've been midweek as of when I started doing midweek check-ins. So I don't predict any weight. As discussed before, like weight's kind of a bit irrelevant now, because the predicted weight, I don't even need to know my weight because I'm doing class 1. So yeah, that's not really an issue there. But 236 is good to know kind of where I sit in relation to loading carbs and whatnot. So obviously this is described as peak week. For years I've been a staunch what's the word? Enemy, use that word, of the whole peak week scenario. Okay, so think of it this way: you should have done a peak prep. If you're not ready by 1 week out, you're not going to be ready. You're not going to look your best anyway. You can still step on the stage, but you're not going to be ready. Why? A lot of people have been dieting from 16 weeks out, 20 weeks out, sometimes even more than that. Why change everything in the last week? Now, I'm not the first person to kind of say this. Right? This is plastered all over YouTube. It's plastered all over forums. But why would you change everything last minute? Your body's used to your water levels. Your body's used to probably your nutrition by now. It should be, in terms of carb sensitivity and whatnot. Your body should be used to the cardio that you're on, unless you've had to ramp it up at 2 weeks or 3 weeks out for some reason. Your body's used to the training that you're doing. Your body's used to everything. Why would you then go and stress multiple systems in your body for what could possibly give you maybe 5%? And trust me, at the amateur level, at the low amateur level, there's not even point in trying to add that 5%. Okay, so no, to answer people's questions, I've not done anything different these last few days or these last few weeks. I'll run the high carb day that I've been trialing for the past 6 weeks on Saturday. That is the only thing that I'll be doing that could be considered kind of peaking, which essentially I'm just trying to fill out, push my body weight probably up to morning weight of around 243 to 245. For those who look at my Instagram, things like that, and this YouTube channel, you'll see the posing video that I put up. That's where I was sitting there. So I was happy with that look. So I'm just going to replicate what I did there. Yeah. So going forward, everything remains the same. Today is the last session from the training plan. So basically what I do with my training in the last week is I just match my logbook rep for rep, or try to. That's what I do training wise in the last thing. Cardio wise, keep it the same. I like the way I look at the end of the week, midweek, start of the week, with the cardio in at the time that I'm doing it, so 35 minutes. So that stays at 35 minutes until tomorrow morning will be the last one. And there'll be no cardio on the Saturday, replicating the trials that I've done in previous weekends where there's no cardio in the morning with the high carb day. Anabolics, harder supplements don't change at all. They remain the exact same. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do this week. There's nothing insane. I don't carb deplete. You've been carb depleting for 20 weeks. You've been carb depleting for 16 weeks. Your body's sensitive enough to absorb carbs, okay? And a lot of people don't even need it. I've got a few clients that are going to be competing with me at the Saxon, who Jamie Maxwell needs an extra, I think I put in 50 grams, and Ben Smithson, nothing, and Kevin Halford, nothing, and Karen, 50, or something like that. So look at the tiny amounts that these people need changed, because they're not that flat that they need to be pushing that kind of thing. Now, everyone knows the ridiculous amount of carbs that I take in a high carb day, but that's person dependent. They're not me, okay? Like, everyone's different, and that's why it takes a good eye to determine who needs what, and so on. So that's where I'm at just now. Aye, that's where I'm at just now. So I've actually taken notes this time. I'm actually going to go through a wee bit. So I've seen a lot of posts with water loading, water depletion, right? Your body regulates water by the second. You can't out-trick it. If you're going to double your water for 3 days, you change the chemistry in your brain, chemistry changes. Your body then upregulates hormones so that you will lose, so that it will get rid of water more frequently. So you're going to pee more, okay? So you're flushing out all this water. Flush, 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 flush. Aldosterone's right up here, okay? You then deplete, doesn't notice anything. You keep depleting water, then your body's like, this guy's not giving me water, so I'm going to lower my aldosterone. What happens when you lower aldosterone? Your body holds water. It's a survival mechanism. That's why the human race has lasted 200,000 years. You cannot out-trick nature, right? And also, it's just a pain in the arse drinking all that water and doing all that, okay? You're setting yourself up to be a water balloon post-workout. Post-show. Because your body's just going to rebound. It's going to be, the aldosterone's still going to be down here. You're going to go eat shit, you're going to drink water, and you're going to blow up and add X amount of pounds of water on top of that. So, pulling water, water depletion stuff, no, you don't need to be doing it. If you're dry, hard, full, a little bit flat, you can add carbs. But if you're dry, hard, and full, why are you messing with your water? It's been the same. If you've done a year off season and a 20-week prep, it's been a year and 20 weeks that you've not changed your water. Why are you doing it now? Why are you doing it now? Think about that. And if you've got a coach, question them, because water depletion is such a cliche thing. It's like, oh, it's a thing, so we do it. Why do we do it? I don't know, just because everyone else does it. That's not a reason. That's not a reason. And I've come from experience. I've done all this. It doesn't work. I just spat on my screen. Right. Pulling water and adding carbs is another one. Carbohydrates need water to move around the body. In layman's terms, in the simplest terms, carbs need water to move around the body. Hence the reason when you put water back in after your show, you fill out, and the number one line is, I look better now than I did the day of the show. It's because you've added water back in and you've allowed the carbs you've loaded to move through your body to the muscle. That's why you filled out, okay? If you load carbs without water, the carbs have nowhere to go. So what happens when nowhere to go? They sit in your gut. What happens when stuff sits in your gut? You bloat, okay? You bloat. So you've got that bloat there. What then happens is your body is desperately trying to move these carbohydrates. So it takes water away from other areas of the body, hence causing dehydration, headaches, flatness, and then drives that water into your gut. It then drives the water into your gut, and now you have distortion through the gut. So now you can't see any definition through the abdomen or the midsection. So there you go. Loading carbs without water is disastrous. And trust me, you'll be cramping on stage because you're dehydrated, because your body is trying to move these carbs without water. It's as simple as that, okay? Carb depletion I've already covered. You've just dieted for 4 months. You're depleted, okay? You don't need to do a carb depletion. If you're on 100 grams of carbs, you really think pulling 100 grams of carbs right now is going to do anything? Literally a deck chair off the Titanic. That is what it's compared to, okay? And training in the last week, I've just touched on there as well with myself. So keep it heavy, keep it the exact same that you were doing up until this point. Don't set PBs, okay? Don't try and be Eddie Hall or Jordan Peters. Don't need to set PBs. Just match your logbook. If you're feeling still a wee bit sore, just reduce the weights a wee bit. Simple. That's all you need to do, because the look you've achieved has been achieved via doing that, whatever system you use, high volume, low volume, whatever. It's been achieved via that training. So keep that training in the last week, and you'll keep the look that you have. If you want to string out, if you want to look stringy on stage, then start doing lighter weight, start doing higher reps while you're doing a carb depletion. If you want to just be really stringy, have no muscle glycogen, have no fullness to the muscle, be my guest and revolutionize your training in the last week, okay? Tiny, minute changes is all that is needed, okay? If you look shit, not if you look shit, but if you're not ready, you will look worse. I will put every pound in my bank account on a bet that you look worse. If you do any of the stuff that I've just outlined, you will look worse. If you're a bikini girl and you've been told to do water depletion, question your coach. Or if you're a bikini girl who's coaching herself, don't do it. You still time. There's 3. Well, I don't do the Saxon, but if you're doing any show, don't do it. Okay. Carb load for bikini girls, or smaller girls, or smaller men. Are you full? Are you dry? Are you hard? If yes, don't carb load. Okay. For girls, if you're trying to carb load and you have 0 muscle, then you're just going to bloat yourself. You're just going to be bloated on stage. You do not need to carb up. Okay, you do not need to carb load. Okay, I won't go into the science of how much like glycogen your muscle can store, but flat out, just you don't have enough muscle to justify a carb load. You don't. A lot of men don't either, depending on how kind of drastic you've taken your diet and how hard you've dieted, how hard you've trained, and so on. So just be aware of these things and take note of what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying this just to make a funny video or to shit on other people. This is all from experience, all from experience. I've done all this crap. It doesn't work. It does not work, okay? I'm trying to think of like an analogy. Right, let's just go with football. I know nothing about football, okay? But you get to Scottish Cup final or the English final or a cup final, like you get to a cup final, okay? And you play a 4-2-3. Whatever, like you play a formation in football. You've got your formation. You realise with the talents of the different players and the skill set of the different players that formation works, and that the plays and the set plays that you have work perfectly. You're getting goals, you're getting past players, you're winning games. You get to the final, and then you change the formation to something that no one has an idea of how to use. You move skill sets of players around the pitch that don't match each other, okay? Why have you done that? What you had worked. Why are you changing everything last minute? What happens? Confusion, poor performance, inefficiency. Okay, it's the same thing with a peak week. Don't change anything. It's the same thing. Don't change anything. You don't necessarily have to win on stage or place, but if you've got a winning formula that makes you look your best, why are you changing everything last minute? Okay? Every year I go through this with people who are competing. Every year. Stop, like if someone suggests to you water loading, question it. Right? Don't get me wrong. There may be a valid reason. There may 100% be a valid reason. Everybody's different. One of my clients who's competing with me on Sunday, he's probably going to have to keep his water super low because we like the look that he has in the morning, okay? Everyone's different, whereas I can't do that. If as soon as I take water out, my weight plummets, absolutely plummets. So everyone's different, but question your coach why he's asking you to water load, or she's asking you to water load. Question why you're carb loading. Question everything, okay? You're paying them. You're paying your coach to help you, okay? You don't owe them, they owe you. Ask questions, and I guarantee a lot won't be able to give you a valid scientific reason, okay? Just think things through, take it easy, stress-free, and then just diet hard up into the show. That's all you need to do, and go from there. Keep it simple. And that's what I'm doing. Hopefully that's enough on Sunday to do well, or bring a look that I've never brought before. So, gonna calm down now. I'm gonna press that wee stop button. 3 days out, I'll do a video on this Saturday during my carb load, just to show you a day in the life of a carb load before a show, and I'll do something on the day of the show as well, assuming that my phone doesn't cut out, because I'm really struggling to keep memory free on this fucking phone. As you can tell, I'm absolutely knackered, and that's the reality of things. So yeah, stay tuned, see you later.